Live from Nipso Production Studios in the heart of America, it's Saturday Night Review, a podcast dedicated to the television show Saturday Night Live. With your hosts, Joseph and Denis. And here's Denis.
All right, that's right. Welcome, one and all, to the 16th episode of Saturday Night Review. He is Joseph.
And he is Denis.
And this is a YouTube podcast devoted to one of our favorite shows of all time, Saturday Night Live. And we love talking about that show, don't we, Joseph?
It's the greatest show of all time.
It's the greatest show of all time, and that's well said. And that's why we are such huge fans. We're just two guys that like to talk about this show. We want to share our opinions on what we think of each show every week, and we would love to hear your input as well. But before we do all that, you have to know how the show is going to be run. So, Joseph, would you mind sharing with the listener what to expect on this episode of Saturday Night Review?
You know, I've never really been great at sharing, Denis, but I'll do my best to give out the information about what's going to happen on the show. So here's the rundown,
sharing is kidding. Sharing is caring, by the way.
No, let's go with sharing is kidding, because most of the time we do that anyway.
You are kidding, yeah, when you're sharing.
I'm kidding, yeah. Okay, so here's the rundown, kiddies. We're going to talk about the host, Halsey. How did she do? What did we think of her? Denis and I will give our assessment on her hosting capabilities. This was a first-timer on our hands. So then we go to Weekend Update. Colin and Michael, how did they do? What was our assessment on them? Then we give our top 3 skits of the show, and then we talk about next week's host and what we can possibly expect from them. And of course, we'd love to hear your comments, your feedback, your hateful, suggestions you have for us. So please, if you want to, you can give us a comment at the bottom of this video, or you can email us at nipsoproductions@gmail.com. And we would love to hear from you about anything regarding our talented selves in the show that we do.
You said Halsey was in our hands. Halsey was never in my hands. I don't know where you were, but...
Did I say Halsey was in our hands?
Yes, you did. And I did not have that exciting of a Saturday night. I'm sorry.
That's a lawsuit waiting to happen.
I know, that really is. Oh, by the way, Linda is in the booth again as usual. Hi, Linda. Linda's waving and telling us we're number one, but we'll talk about that later. This week has a major holiday attached to it, by the way, and if you work for Hallmark, you know what I'm talking about. That is Valentine's Day. So we thought, as a public service to our listener, that we would like to present some never before seen or heard Saturday Night Review Valentine's Day cards.
Ooh.
Cards based on our favorite TV show, Saturday Night Live, and you have to have the right music in the background when you do this. And so, in order to have this, there's only one song I could play.
Uh-oh.
I mean, come on. There's only one. What Is Love? Gotta be the song that we play in the background. Yeah, you can sing along if you'd like. This is the karaoke version.
The karaoke.
So, and you can, if you want to, while you're listening, if you tilt your head to the left on every beat, then you are truly a fan of Saturday Night Live. So, while this is going on, we'll start with Joseph. Joseph, let me turn the music down just a little bit so we can hear you. Joseph, what is one of your Valentine's Day cards?
All right, so here's one of my favorites. It's a classic. I'm going back to the middle days, if you will, middle period of SNL. It's a picture of Stuart Smiley, played by SNL alum Al Franken, and it says, "Because you're good enough, you're smart enough, and doggone it, you're my lover. Happy Valentine's Day."
Very nice. Very nice. I have one here that's a picture of Gilly.
Gilly.
And it says, "I have a heart for you." And then you open it up, and red dye squirts on you from a picture of a cow heart. So you can go, "Gilly, Gilly, did you put cow's blood in this card for me?"
Sorry.
Yes. Sorry.
Good one. I have one. This one is a very dapper-looking young gentleman with sunglasses on his brow, a sweater wrapped around his collarbone, and looking very, very stylish. It's a guy who just bought a boat, and it says, "Here's to your hiney, forever your Valentine, your co-worker, guy who just bought a boat."
Nice. I got one from my friend Riblet. Riblet. He says, "Happy Valentine's Day, yo." And you open it up and says, "It ain't no hard job to be your Valentine's." Oh!
Oh, man. Like, I don't know how they didn't make a business out of this. Hallmark could have made a killing off of this.
I know. They could.
If they just would have, garnered some rights from SNL, and they would have made a fortune. But they're lost, right?
That's right.
They're lost our game.
Always.
I've got a picture here in my mind of a very, very sexy young man, in my opinion. Very sexy young man. And it just says, say, yes, to be my Valentine, Stefan.
Oh, Stefan. Nice. The next one I have is kind of a collection. It was 2 for 1. Actually, it was 3 for 1. So I got 3 for the price of 1. These are all Debbie Downer cards. It's very sad, but very true. I have to stop the head bobbing.
This is going to be good.
Yeah, the first Debbie Downer card says Happy Valentine's Day, and you open it up, and there's a picture of Debbie Downer, and she says, "Remember, Claudius condemned St. Valentine's to death, commanding that he either renounce his faith or he'll be beaten with clubs and beheaded." So happy Valentine's Day to that,
gosh.
dear.
Yeah. I'm sorry.
That's okay.
Too funny. That was good.
Hey, thank you.
First off, it's one of the best SNL characters in my opinion.
Oh, always.
And just to make a card based on that, that's so good. So kudos to you. Okay. My next one is a picture of an interesting woman, an interesting gal, and she's winking at you and blowing a kiss, and it says, "If we're ever in the same blood bank again, happy Valentine's Day. Yours truly, Sheila Savage."
Oh, Sheila Savage. That poor lady. Another Debbie Downer card. It says, "Enjoy Valentine's Day," and you open it up, and it's her face. Debbie Downer, it says. "But remember, you can spread colds and flu just by kissing." Plays that sound, too, so... Exciting stuff.
Oh my gosh. It's so easy when you hear that sound effect. I think for the rest of my life, I'm just going to imagine Rachel Dratch's face getting a close up on it.
Absolutely. With a crooked smile frown.
With a crooked smile. And almost barely breaking character on some of those. But this one is from our pal Drunk Uncle. And it just says, "You're a 1.5 on my scale. Big deal. Happy Valentine's Day."
Immigrants.
And
my last card is another Debbie Downer, the third in the collection. Outside it says, "Have a great Valentine's Day." And inside's, of course, a picture of Debbie Downer that says, "Because it wasn't a great Valentine's Day in 1929 in Chicago, where 7 members of the North Side Gang were lined up and shot to death." So happy Valentine's Day to that. That's good one for if you're in Chicago. I would think that would be a good one. But
yeah, that's great.
Okay, those were our cards. They're Valentine's Day cards, the Saturday Night Review Valentine's Day cards. And I hope you can find those on sale. And if you can't, why don't you write us at nipsoproductions@gmail.com and we'll send them out to you. But we're going to take a quick break here. When we come back, we are going to talk about the actual show that happened last week and put these Valentine's Day cards away. I got one for Linda, too. But I'll share that later with her personally.
Oh.
Yeah.
She'll love that.
Yeah. I got her like a bunch of flowers. What did you get her for Valentine's Day? Anything?
I didn't get her anything. What do you get a woman who's been divorced 5 times, though? So.
Well, yeah. And,
I'm sure that I would think this day would be kind of a touchy subject with her, I guess.
It kind of is, but I do have some flowers and candy for her. I'll probably give them to her at this break, and I'm sure she'll love them. So
She'll
take
never
a break.
see it coming.
I'll climb
She'll
up
never
into
see
the
it coming.
booth and give her well-deserved Valentine's Day present, and we'll be right back after this.
Hey, Dennis.
Yes.
If I were to write a Valentine's Day card to you, it would go something like this. Roses are red. Violets are blue. Sugar is sweet. Why not? Question mark.
Aww. You were such a poet.
Well, comes from the heart, man.
Comes from somewhere. I don't know if it's the heart, but...
Yeah, probably not, actually.
No, probably not.
You are watching and listening to Saturday Night Review on the Nipso Productions YouTube channel.
Guess what? I got a fever. And the only prescription is more cowbell. Thank you, Bruce.
Well, I mean, come on. I know it's kind of a rough
God.
time for her, but she did not have to hit me in the face
No.
with my own roses, dude.
No, dude, and that's the... Well, I mean, I guess that would be the... I wouldn't say that's a good side of your face. I guess the better side, because the other one...
Well, they're
she
both
didn't have
crappy,
to do that.
I'll give you that, but she
Yeah,
doesn't need
she
to
didn't
hit
have
me
to do that.
with
Linda.
the roses. And then the candy. I don't even want to talk about what she did with the candy. It's disgusting. She should be ashamed. Yeah, Linda. I'm talking about
Linda.
you. Golly.
Come on, have
Rude.
some professionalism, ma'am.
I tried to do something nice for her. Anyway, sorry, we are back with our show here at Saturday Night Review. We're going to talk about last week's show with host Halsey. And we're going to start by talking to Joseph and see what he thought of our first-time host and musical guest, Halsey. What were your thoughts, Joseph?
Okay, so I feel like our assessments, I'm gonna go out on a limb and say that our assessments might be similar this round, because this is our 16th episode, and I think I can somewhat read you at this point, but then you always throw me some curveballs.
Can you read what I'm thinking right now?
So I'm going to say that Halsey, is it something about balls?
Nope. Okay, go ahead. I'm safe.
So I thought that she did a fine job hosting. I think that she gave it her all. I would say that the parts that they kind of gave her weren't necessarily anything extraordinary that we've seen or that I've seen, but I feel that she was in it. I feel that, yeah, she gave it her best. I wouldn't say that, it was... I'll say this. I did like the episode. I would say in her part, it wasn't, one of my favorite performances, because I felt that her characters were somewhat supplemental and like secondary, but I did enjoy her. And I give her props for, any first timer doing this. So I'm going to say that, yeah, she was good.
All right. I thought she was fantastic. I thought her monologue when she came out, a lot of energy.
Yeah.
Wanted to be there, talked about growing up in Jersey and wanting to be
really
on there.
good.
Her name, her real name, and she said it in a Jersey accent.
Yes.
Just amazing stuff. She seemed just, I had no idea who she is. I'm going to be honest. I'm old. I don't listen to her music. But what she did in the monologue had me excited going into break. I thought, wow, this is going to be a great show. And I really felt like I wasn't that disappointed. She did great. She was a cast member. She did everything they asked her to do. Yeah. And something she did singing, which we all talk about musical part of the show because we all have different musical tastes. I mean, that's going to be just whether you like the music or not anyway. But she's sitting there singing in the second one and she's painting on the floor and she painted. Like, that's pretty cool. I was kind of blown away by that. But I thought she was fantastic. I can't wait for her to host again. Definite thumbs up, and I was thrilled with her as a host. And I know the $1 million question coming from Joe is, are you Aquafina thrilled? And my answer to that is I've thought about it, and I think, I think it's an Aquafina type of hosting by Halsey.
See, this is so fascinating because I feel like I can't get a read on you, man. This is why we could never date.
Well, we tried. No, I'm kidding. We didn't do it.
No, keep him speculating. So I want to say that here's the thing. I will say that her monologue, I want to focus on that specifically for just 1 second because her monologue, in my opinion, was kind of better than some of the more experienced actors and actresses that we've seen.
Absolutely.
And I thought that, like, with the voice that she did from New Jersey and, her enthusiasm for Saturday Night Live, she didn't slip up at all. Like, she didn't stumble. She didn't stutter.
Nope.
Like, she was really, really good. And I remember thinking that when I saw it, I was like, oh, wow. Like, I was expecting her to come out and go, and she's reading off the cue cards. No, she didn't. She was very poised and very natural. So I will say that. But to go back to your Aquafina comment. So Aquafina I feel very like a comedian actor.
Yeah.
And she had some, had some comedian parts. And I feel like Halsey, while she was very good, I felt like, we'll get into the sketches later, but I felt like they didn't give her the Aquafina parts. They gave her,
probably not. Yeah.
So
that's not her fault, though. And I'm
No.
not, look, it's 1A and 1B. I really liked Aquafina and I really liked Halsey. It's been a really good year of first-time hosts that we have no idea what we're getting. More often than not, we've been pleasantly surprised than not so far.
Totally.
And this is just, to me, is another pleasant surprise. I didn't know who she was. I didn't know where she came from. I didn't know anything about her. And so I just went into Saturday night like, okay, let's see who this is and what the deal is. And that she, she was so excited and so enthusiastic in her monologue. At the end of the monologue, I was like jumping up and down like, all right, this is going to be a great show, because she just, a lot of energy. She was funny. It was high pitched. It was high tempo. She just seemed very, very excited to be there. And even at the end, when she said, goodbye to everybody, you could tell she was genuinely grateful to the week. And so I don't know. I just thought she was great. I really enjoyed her.
I enjoyed her as well. Yes.
Yeah. Yeah. Apparently more, because you said something about having her in your hands, but we won't go into that now.
It must have been like a Freudian slip, I guess.
It might have been. So that's what we thought of the host. Do you want to take a break and come back and talk about what we thought about the weekend update?
I would love to do that. I think you maybe need to ice the side of your face or actually, you know what? I can't. Honestly, I can't tell which one. Yeah,
well, there's a lot of
pain
pain right here. Not so much here or here, but right here. You see that?
Jesus, what happened to your face?
Uh-huh. See, you never look at me, and that is alarming on a number of levels, but you never look at me, and so you never really noticed it. But yeah, I can feel it. It's like hot burning sensation right across the cheek here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, I see that. I'm sorry, I just get kind of confused. So, there's a part of your face, your jowls, if you will.
Yeah.
So one was lumpier than the other, but now that I'm recognizing this, that wasn't actually the side that got hit. So that's why it's just the configuration of your face. You have a very unsymmetrical face, if I can say that.
I have lumpy jowls.
A little bit, yeah.
Ew.
Imagine like almost like a cartoon dog, if you will.
I'm Droopy the dog. Is that what you're telling me just now?
Sort of, but a little bit more morose and sad looking.
Jeez. Well, if you ate a sandwich or two, you might have a little bit more on your face. I'm just saying.
Perhaps, yeah.
It wouldn't hurt you to eat like maybe a lunch or something, Well,
I'd probably have the sandwich on my face, if that's what you mean.
That's
true. I'm a very messy eater.
Yeah. Half of it probably doesn't even get in your mouth, I would imagine, by looking at you.
Well, that's how you stay trim, friend.
Yeah.
You are watching and listening to Saturday Night Review on the Nipso Productions YouTube channel.
Well, isn't that special?
I wouldn't necessarily say that I'm gaunt. I think gaunt's the wrong word to use, Dennis.
You're extremely slim. Come on.
Well, yeah, I'm extremely slim, but there's a lot of tone there. There's a lot of muscle, especially around my wrists.
There's a reason why the kids at school are trying to give you candy bars. And it's not because you're their favorite teacher. They're worried about you, man. I'm just going to tell you, they're just flat out worried about you. They think that you're starving yourself.
Really?
I walk by your room, you're listening to the Carpenters. Come on, man.
Oh, now I'm starting to understand why they're calling me Karen.
Yeah, see?
That would explain all the gift baskets. Oh, hey. Sorry, Linda. Linda's giving me the go-ahead. We're back, and thank you for joining us. Thank you for tuning in. Thank you for listening to the SNL review. We're going to be reviewing the weekend update from last week's episode. I'm going to say that weekend update for me this week was exceptionally hilarious. It might be Dennis. I don't know. I mean, I've seen a lot of episodes. You've seen a lot of episodes. This might be one of the most hilarious weekend updates that I've seen this season. Yeah. I'm trying to recall, and I wasn't expecting it. That's the thing. Like I saw, when a guy with the bow who we'd seen before. I always loved that character. We even had some new characters show up.
Mikey Day and Heidi Gardner playing the Instagram couple, which I loved because folks. I'm sorry, if you have a shared Instagram, somebody cheating. That's all I'm saying. You just know. Which one of you was caught cheating because you got the same Instagram, the same Facebook. So that was just amazing. I could have watched them go at it for 20 minutes and I would have never stopped looking.
No. Well, here's the thing. Like Heidi Gardner, like there are certain parts. I think I want to give her a compliment and say that some of these parts, like I can't figure out. Mm-hmm. There are some SNL cast members who, like, they really are a one-trick pony. Mm-hmm. And I'm beginning to think after seeing her, I don't think she is. I think she picks these parts where they're her wheelhouse, and that there's a difference. She knows what she can do, and she does these characters like this, like the Instagram couple. She does them so well.
Oh my gosh! Yes,
like every man, like she's very good at like putting little nuances in her characters, and I was like, oh my god, you've seen that couple, you've seen that girl, you've seen her make that face, you've seen her say it in that tone.
Yes,
you know what I mean, and it was so good. And Mikey Day, of course, played along. Like it was so good.
When Mikey Day pulled his hat over his eyes, I almost lost it. I'm like, that is so. I only know how real that is.
I know. That's what I'm saying. Like they did such a good job, and I was so impressed.
I was too.
So my assessment was Colin and Mike, like they were on their game too. I mean, just spot on with the jokes. So I want to give them credit as well. I loved it.
Pence's tie was so straight it made me suspicious. Was just like my favorite line of the whole show. And just, again, you get so much material. There was so much awful news this week that there was just too much to pick from almost.
Yes.
And can we give a shout out when we're talking about the news? You talk about the guy who bought a boat. You talk about the Instagram couple. Melissa Villaseñor.
Yeah.
Or however you pronounce her name, and I apologize. Dressed up as Gaga and just on the money singing as Lady Gaga. Not just the voice, but the mannerisms, the facial expressions.
Yes.
Nailed it completely.
She's good, man.
Oh,
she is really good.
That was just amazing.
Overall, I was like, wow, where have they been hiding that? Like, do they save these up and say, okay, guys, we need a winner, and we're just going to put all of it in to one segment? You know what I mean?
Oh yeah, yeah.
So I don't know, and I don't know if sometimes if it's a fluke and they just like, here, let's see if this works, and then ends up like crushing like it did. But
that was amazing.
I was really pleased and impressed with this.
It was a fantastic update, and well done all the way around, without question. Joseph, I do a pretty mean Lady Gaga myself. I didn't know if you knew that.
I don't know if I want to know it actually, but
I can.
It's interesting.
I can sing my poker face. Did that sound like her? Right? Is that?
Well, I wish you would have given me more time to process that, because I don't know how to respond to that, to be honest with you. It was good.
Thanks.
It was good in a sense, yeah.
It sounded just like her, like she was here, right in the room. Isn't it? Just like eerie, wasn't it? If you close your eyes. My poker face. You hear? I mean, isn't that creepy?
It is. It does give me chills. That is, yeah. In a sense, it does, man. You are
I don't
jack of all
trades,
trades, man.
I'll be embarrassed because there'll be too many comments about how great it is. So let's take a quick break here. We'll come back and we'll have our top 3 skits from the show. But during break, Joseph, if you want, I mean, I can sing more poker face, because I know that I sound just like her when I do.
You know what? I think I liked your Paul Simon impression a little bit better.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it was a little bit better.
Oh,
I said a little bit. I just said a little bit.
I'll go get my guitar. I'll be right back.
Oh, well, I didn't mean you actually had to go get it. I just meant it was a little bit better. I didn't. Please, no, you don't have to do that.
You are watching and listening to Saturday Night Review on the Nipso Productions YouTube channel.
You're gonna end up eating a steady diet of government cheese and living in a van down by the river.
Everything's coming up roses. Huh?
I guess I'm gonna say Amy. Is it Amy Poehler?
Ethel Merman. It's Ethel Merman, dude.
Oh,
Come on.
Ethel. Oh, wow.
You know it's Ethel Merman.
I certainly do now, man. I'm
I've
sorry.
got so many more that I can play for you here. I can do Engelbert Humperdinck. I can do Neil Diamond.
Oh yeah, no, that sounds good. But actually, no, hold on. Yeah, no, hold on, Linda. If we got to get back, dude.
Oh.
I'm sorry.
All right.
It's that time.
Let's get back to the show.
Here we go. 3 skits.
Top 3 skits from this last
time.
show, and we're going to start with Joseph and his top 3 skits from last week's Saturday Night Live, starring the musical guest and the host,
Halsey and Oatsy.
Halsey and Oatsy.
Okay, so I'm just going to say, I say this every time, and people get tired of hearing it, or people who listen to this probably get tired of hearing it. This was a hard decision this time because I really did. I know what I said about Halsey. I really did love this episode.
Yeah.
Like I mean, I don't know. There was a lot. I don't know. There was a lot going on, I feel it was really hard for me to narrow it down. So here's what I went with. And afterwards, we talk about the running ups, as you know. So I'm probably going to include every other skit in the running ups that I didn't choose.
Sure.
So number 3 is going to go with Parents Call. Beck Bennett and Halsey playing the parent, calling Mikey Day.
Yes.
And just being super annoying. It was pretty good. It wasn't, it was good. I think the thing that had me cracking up the most was Beck Bennett being kind of the very overbearing father and talking about these things. And I love how they made all these assumptions and then hung up the phone immediately.
Yes.
So Parents Call was my number 3. My second one that actually, I'm laughing just thinking about it now, was Kenan Thompson's Maurice, where he plays the father who has just gotten an account on a porn website and he's talking about making extra money with Leslie Jones, and he's really proud of his work.
Yes.
And they're sitting down to dinner, what appears to be his children, and then I guess soon to be daughter-in-law. So I chose Maurice. And the last one, the one that I thought was funniest, and then the one I've watched at least 4 times and sent to my family members and other friends, state meeting, the Jeremy Northam, or the Senator Northam controversy in Virginia right now. I thought that was so funny regarding these white politicians talking about if it's okay in certain instances to wear blackface. And can I just say that my favorite one is, well, what if you're half black? Oh, that brings up, okay, well, then that might be actually acceptable. Like, are you half African American? No, I was Michael Jackson, and I went as the white version and the black version. So I was half black and half white.
But it was the 80s.
But it was the 80s. So I have to say State Meeting was one of my favorites, possibly one of my favorite skits of this season. So those are my top 3.
Very good. Very good. And we're very similar in a lot of ways here. I really like Maurice. He didn't make my top 3, but he would definitely make my top 4, top 5. No doubt about it. My number 3 was the film, The White Women of Congress. It was quick. It was fast. It was funny. It was topical. Yes. It was really well done. The ladies were fantastic in it. I thought that deserved some praise. So definitely the White Women of Congress was amazing. So I gave that my number 3. My number 2 was the Virginia Ethics Committee meeting, the state meeting. A couple more, like Kenan as the chairman being spectacular. Beck, what if blackface was part of the costume of a black person? But my favorite, but we can still do the voice, right? I mean, come on, that was so
brilliant.
Good, really so brilliantly written.
What an end!
One of the best written sketches they've done all year, without question.
I'm telling you, without a doubt.
Yeah. And my number 1 was the Parent Call. I couldn't stop laughing, and especially with Red and Melissa being the couple that's with Mikey Day going, no, call her back. We got to see what's going on.
We're involved in this now.
Yeah, we're involved in this now. We got to see what's going on. And Mikey Day being the confused guy, which he does so well. And Beck and Halsey just, oh, well, I broke my legs. I'll talk to you later. That's...
You're really starting to piss me off.
I couldn't stop laughing. And it was a hard job to get 3 out of this too. I agree. I could have gone 5, 6, 7 deep. No question about it. You already talked about, but we didn't talk about the film with the Trumps.
Yes.
The Trumps were black. Darius Trump, them Trumps.
Yep.
Keenan was amazing in that.
He's so good.
No, he's just amazing. The cold open I thought was, to be honest, was a little long for me. But McKinnon as Ross stole the show as she always does. Bryant as Whitaker. It was a little long for me. The cold open, Meet the Press. Yes. But it was, it was pretty good. It
was okay.
Yeah, so many other great skits on this show. The song I Didn't Want to Think of You was okay, one of the best, but we have high expectations, unfortunately, for the digital shorts, I think.
We really do, yeah.
Yeah, so, but I thought, all overall, an extremely strong show.
Yeah, well, so I'm surprised you didn't mention this. Your boy, Pete Davidson, was actually featured in a skit where he wasn't Pete Davidson.
Yes.
Can we just talk about that for a second?
Yes.
So, and I don't know, here's the thing. You have to wonder, and I don't want to bring, too much, tabloid drama, gossip, whatever have you. You have to wonder after that whole incident around Christmas time involving, his social media accounts and the things that he was posting and how people were kind of reaching out to him. And it was kind of a dark time for him.
Yes.
Ever since that point, we have been hearing some positive things about him, and we've been seeing him, I feel, for instance, when we saw him on Weekend Update with John Mulaney, we thought, okay, well, they're kind of including this guy. It seems like they're making him a little bit more inclusive. And this one, I have to be honest with you, I was kind of scratching my head. Number one, because I was glad to see him not be Pete Davidson. He was an actual cast member.
Yeah.
And he didn't break character. And I actually thought what he did as the corpse was actually kind of funny.
It was
kind of humorous, and I can't tell. Yeah. I can't tell honestly, Dennis, if it was okay, did I actually think it was funny, or was I just happy for the fact that Pete Davidson was featured in a skit where he wasn't necessarily he was actually kind of he was actually the lead in that, if you want to say.
Yes, he was. We might want to mark this moment in Saturday Night Live history and kind of put a little bookmark in it, because it reminds me of Bill Murray.
Really?
And Bill came on the show and basically asked the audience, "Hi, I'm the new guy, Bill Murray, and I'm being told that I'm not being funny, and if you all could do me a favor, just when you see me in a sketch, if you could kind of laugh when I say something that would really be helpful." He basically pleaded to the audience to help him out, and Bill took off from that point forward. David Spade, who was very close to being cut, was told, get on to Hollywood, get on the news and do something. So he just became a jerk. He became the Hollywood Minute. Boom. Instant, instant credibility. Will this be the bookmark for Davidson, where when he came on and said a few weeks ago, I don't know if it was this season, might have been last season, where he said, I've been suffering from depression, and he turns to Joseph and says, it wouldn't hurt to get some of my skits on. that would help my depression, and as funny as that was, and is that kind of his landmark moment where he's kidding, and Bill Murray was kidding, and David Spade was kidding, but all three of them needed something, and they kind of had. You could look back at Bill Murray and say it's funny, but you can also look back and say, that was kind of biographical at that moment as well, where he was like, it's not working out, I need you guys to help me. And so they did, of course he just took off. But maybe Davidson's going to do the same thing after that. Who knows?
And I hope he does. I know that he's featured in a film, an independent film coming out here soon. I don't know the name of it, but I just saw that. And so I think we're starting to see maybe the rise of Pete Davidson.
I hope so. overall, this show was one of the best of the season. I think
Totally.
we can say that without question. It's a very strong showing. And we're going to have a strong show next week, I think, with another new host, Don Cheadle. So we'll take a little break, and we'll come back, and we'll talk about what's coming up next week on Saturday Night Live. You are listening to Saturday Night Review and watching Saturday Night Review. Why not? Don't cost nothing. We'll see you after this.
Don Cheadle, man, that's going to be a good one. It's such an accomplished actor, you know?
I know. He was on that, Snakes on the Plane, and he was in Pulp Fiction and all those other things. He was really good. He's been in a lot of movies.
Oh, no, he wasn't, man. And actually, I think that's somewhat racist.
Oh dear.
You are watching and listening to Saturday Night Review on the Nipso Productions YouTube channel.
Zutalos! Increíble!
Oh, that was Samuel L. Jackson.
Yes.
Right. Okay, well, then who did that Super Bowl commercial?
That was Lawrence Fishburne.
Oh, right. Okay, I got it.
I mean, you realize how wrong this sounds, right?
I know.
These are two completely different people.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Oh, Cheadle was in Boogie Nights.
Cheadle was in Boogie Nights,
Yeah.
Hotel Rwanda.
Yeah. Loved him in Boogie Nights. He was awesome. He was fantastic in Boogie Nights.
Yes,
he played the old guy that was the host that had the house and everybody came and he was the director.
Yeah, no, I will say this. I feel better about this incorrection, I guess. That was Burt Reynolds, man.
Oh, okay. Burt. Oh. Okay.
Yeah.
So which one was he then?
So Don Cheadle in Boogie Nights played one of the supporting guys. He ended up wanting to save up to buy his own stereo store.
Oh, the stereo store, the cowboy.
The cowboy, yes.
The cowboy. They got the donuts.
They got the donuts and then ended up taking the money, and that's how he started his own store.
Right.
Yeah.
Wow. That's
He's
awesome.
Also, I think we're missing this for all the 12-year-olds who are listening to this. He's also in the Avengers. He plays Iron Man. He plays the African-American Iron Man, I guess. I don't know what his name is.
He also is in Hotel Rwanda. That's right.
Yes,
very good movie. Very powerful movie.
Totally.
Well done. He's a very accomplished actor. We are back, by the way, if you haven't noticed. And we're going to talk about Don Cheadle a little bit. Just a little bit. First-time host. Again, this season has had a lot of first-time hosts. And they've more often than not been really good first-time hosts. And I'm seriously just kidding about Don Cheadle. I know who Don Cheadle is very well. And I heard that he was hosting. I was very excited. Almost excited as his musical guest, Gary Clark Jr. I love Gary Clark Jr. But we won't go there. But Don Cheadle, I think, is an amazing actor. I think he will. I personally, Joseph, have high expectations. I think he will excel at hosting Saturday Night Live. I think he's going to be a very good member of the crew. He always seems to be a great support, and no matter what he's in, as a star or even a supporting character, he's one of the best actors out there, in my opinion. So I'm really looking forward to it. What are your thoughts?
I disagree. I think he's going to bomb. No, I'm kidding. He's going to do great. He's going to do great. Okay, so here, can I ask you something?
Yes.
And I promise it won't be about anything regarding the so-called diet that you're on.
Thank God.
So we always talk about the first timers and what our expectations, and especially this season. I think you're absolutely right. I mean, you said that perfectly. We've been pleasantly surprised with the first timers this season. And I almost want to say, and I'm going to ask you, are the days of like the Steinbrenners, the Steve Forbes that we've mentioned, the Justin Biebers, like, are those days gone? Have the first timers learned from other first timers and said, okay, I don't want to do that? And then if that's the case, Dennis, so there's one response. If that's the case, does it sadden you a bit to know that we will never see a Steven Seagal? We'll never see, somebody bomb and then go, oh man, I remember that episode. That was terrible. At the same time, you're like, well, I almost kind of want to see it's voyeurism at its best, and it's like you almost want to see the tightrope walker fall off the rope. You know what I mean?
Well, first off, I don't think they're in a position right now to afford a Steven Seagal. With people say, well, Saturday Night Live's not funny anymore, ha ha ha, low ratings and all this. It's in one of those dip periods, which they always are. There always are dip periods. It's coming out of the hole for sure, but they've gained a tremendous amount of momentum this season, getting back to where people are shutting up about, well, it used to be funny, because it is now. And they're on a roll with their hosts. They don't need a Steven Seagal. I don't look forward to the bombing hosts. I don't. It's voyeurism at its best, but it's also Saturday Night Live at its worst, and I don't want to see that. I want to see people that are going to put on a good show. I want an hour and a half. I don't want to be like, oh my God, that took 3 days to get through. I want to be entertained. I would rather see a first-timer like Don Cheadle, who I think we can feel pretty comfortable about having a good show next week with him. He's going to be a team player. It seems like he's always a team player in every movie he's in. He does so well. Boogie Nights, Boogie Nights, hands down, one of the best movies ever made. I'm sorry, it just is. And
he's a great kid.
He was fantastic in Boogie Nights. I don't know if he was even nominated for Boogie Nights off the top of my head. He should have been. He was not. He should have been. He was that good. A great supporting actor, a great character in Boogie Nights. He's just always done. Hotel Rwanda was spectacular.
Yes.
You got the Avenger movies, like you mentioned. He really, really is a really fine actor. And I'd rather see somebody like that get a chance than some no name like, I don't know, like if they decided to bring, Gronk on, which they might, who knows, but
Gronk.
Yeah, but I would rather see that than see Gronk personally. Just because I would rather see somebody that's going to have some acting skills to bring into the show. So,
and I think you're right. And I mean, when you say it that way, you're right. I guess I don't want to see. And here's the thing: I remember seeing Bieber, and I didn't it was terrible. I don't want to go back to those days. I think they've. I don't want to say this after 40 years. I don't know if this is true. I wonder if they've kind of figured out who to avoid. Like, I wonder if they're more selective in saying, like...
I think so. And I think they've tried different things with different people. Absolutely. I think they definitely have learned their lesson, I think. They don't want to have what they had with, those people that were on that were just horrible. And they're shrewd enough to know who's going to want to be there and who's not going to want to be there. So... hopefully the days of Paris Hilton are over. I can only hope that the days of Paris Hilton are over.
Good.
Famous last words. But no, looking forward to Don Cheadle. You as well?
Absolutely.
Yeah, I think it's going to be great. And Gary Clark Jr., I don't like talking about music on this show because, again, music is an opinion, musical taste, but Gary Clark Jr. is going to be fantastic. I love Gary Clark Jr.
I'm going to tune in for that one.
Yeah, absolutely. Let's tune into that one, and let's get ready for it because... can you hear it?
Is it Gary Clark Jr.?
It is not Gary Clark Jr., but it is the band playing us out, which means we still have a little time.
Very little.
The show's almost over. It was a lot of fun, wasn't it?
I love it, man, and I love you. Valentine's Day.
Oh my God! You big old hunk of English muffin, you. It's so much fun to talk about this show, and we both hope that you all enjoy thinking about Saturday Night Live as well. Let us know what your thoughts are. I like the show. I don't like the show. I like your top 3. I don't like your top 3. I liked what you said about Cheeto. I thought you were terrible and disgusting, and I'll never speak to you again. Whatever. Let us know your thoughts. We look forward to another really fine episode of Saturday Night Review next week. But until that time, he's still Joseph.
And he's still Denis.
And we are out of here. So I can do Adele, too. I didn't know if you knew. Hello. You know it's not hello. Hello.
No. No, I know it. I don't hear it.
I have a gift. I should share it with the world. That's all I'm saying.
There are things that you should share. I'm just wondering if we should focus on the other things as opposed to this. You know what I mean?
You sound just like my mom.